A topic that was not even on the agenda sparked a big conversation during Fort Collins' latest city council meeting. We'll have more details on that coming up here at 6 o'clock.
From housing to childcare, Mayor Mike Johnston is addressing affordability in Denver. I'll have the details with his new plan coming up next.
Thunderstorms rolled through parts of our state last night. Kyle Hunter from Longmont sent in some photos capturing the lightning right as it lit up the sky.
All right, thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Drew Carney.
I'm Jennifer Meckles. We want to start with our traffic first. Brianna Fernandez has just issued a traffic impact alert because we're talking about another closure now on I-70.
Yeah, this is happening in the Georgetown area, and that's because of a vehicle fire. We are getting reports that this could be a semi, and unclear if there's any injuries. Now, really not a good look from the CDOT camera, but you can kind of make out those flames and just black smoke pouring out of that area, which is why we've issued that traffic impact alert. So eastbound I-70 has been shut down for about 15 minutes now. Now, I told you about this vehicle fire around 5:45 this morning. We're not seeing any traffic move through that area. Crews have shut down all lanes eastbound I-70 in the Georgetown area, so please keep that in mind, especially if this is part of your morning drive. Frontage Road is going to be a good alternate route, but you can see that crews are trying to knock that fire down, but they haven't been able to contain it since 5:45 this morning. So it's been about 15 minutes, and we are still seeing flames out there. We have given Colorado State Patrol a call just to find out a little bit more information when it comes to injuries, and of course, if this is a semi that's on fire. Once we have more information, I will keep you guys updated, and of course, we'll update you on air as well as online. Let's switch things over to our main maps. Here in the metro area, we were tracking a crash in the Castle Rock area, really from northbound C470 on-ramp, so right near the IKEA that's in that Lincoln and Ridgegate Parkway area. So that crash already cleared up according to Lone Tree Police. Right now, your drive northbound I-25 heading up to 225, only 15 minutes.
Brianna, thank you for those updates. I'm out in the backyard this morning. Higher levels of humidity, some very comfortable temperatures right now. High 60s, low 70s across the metro area. The sun is rising, a really pretty shot from Horsetooth Reservoir. As of this Wednesday morning, we are bracing for more widespread precipitation, but it's not here just yet. Upper 60s to low 70s out the door for you, but your weather headlines. Cooler temperatures will gradually arrive. Daytime highs in the low 90s today, but a monsoon push. Flood watches issued for western Colorado before hot and dry weather returns for the weekend. It is mild and dry this morning from Denver off to the west near Vail and Frisco, but we have been watching some rain this morning roll through Ridgeway out near Grand Junction. More widespread notable precipitation with excessive rainfall possible over portions of western Colorado. Also, burn scar areas particularly may be impacted with those thunderstorms and showers developing this afternoon. It's another hazy start to the morning with an ozone action alert day in place for the Front Range for high concentrations of ground level ozone, and near the Aspen Acres fire, we do have another patchy, smoky start to the day, but we will be watching more rain from southern Colorado here across the Front Range, Winter Park, out across the I-70 drive, some wet roadways. This is 5 p.m. tonight. If you're in and around the Denver area, out to the airport, do be aware of some pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall. This is great. We're watching monsoon moisture stream in. It'll be scattered storms and showers today and tomorrow. I'll break down some of the rain totals we're anticipating coming up in your extended forecast in just under 10 minutes.
All right, sounds good, Katie. We'll have more from Katie coming up here in just a few minutes. Again, we do want to get back to our headlines. We start with Denver police asking for help this morning to find a woman who's been missing, they say, since yesterday afternoon. She's 71-year-old Johanna Joltak. You see her right there on your screen. She was last seen near her home on 7th and North Fairfax, just a few blocks from Lindsley Park, and she's believed to be wearing whitewashed jeans with gold shoes. She's also diagnosed with dementia. She may not know her name. She may not know where she lives. Anyone with information is asked to call the number we have up there on your screen. That is the Denver non-emergency line.
Also right now, a man is facing charges for bomb threats at 2 spots in Thornton. Police say those threats were called into the Thornton City Pool and the Margaret Carpenter Rec Center yesterday. People were evacuated as a precaution. Officers didn't find anything suspicious at either location, but they did make an arrest, 28-year-old, a man, and booked him into the Adams County Jail. Thornton police say there's no evidence right now to believe that the threats from yesterday are connected to the one received by Waterworld earlier this month, which also led to a full park evacuation, but they are in touch with Federal Heights Police.
Summit County is getting even more serious about its fire restrictions during the state's ongoing drought by increasing the fines for anyone who violates those restrictions. So county commissioners just approved all this recently. Deputies can now fine people up to $1,000 for a violation. Before this, it was $150 for the first offense, $500 for a second offense, and $1,000 for for a third. But again, they can give you a $1,000 fine right off the bat at this point. The change applies to anyone caught violating fire restrictions in unincorporated areas of Summit County. The county remains under Stage 2 fire restrictions, so that means all outdoor fires are banned, including campfires on private property, in the backcountry, and in developed campgrounds.
The federal government now plans to offer an incentive for Colorado to use less water. This proposed program would send a total of $100 million to Colorado and 3 other states in the upper Colorado River Basin. And the money would pay farmers, ranchers, and cities to voluntarily use less water. States would have to account for how much water is saved and who saved it. Still not clear on how that money would be split up or how much water the state could actually conserve in any given year.
In wetter years, we'll have more water to conserve. In dry years like this, I don't know how many water rights holders are going to have water that they could contribute to a program like this, to be honest.
Nothing has been signed yet, but Colorado says the feds have told them they intend to make this program a reality.
Mayor Mike Johnson is pitching new ideas aimed at making Denver even more affordable for families.
In his annual State of the City address yesterday, he announced plans to expand affordable housing and tackle the high cost of childcare. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live this morning to talk through some of those ideas. Courtney?
Hey, good morning, Jenny and Drew. Mayor Johnston highlighted housing costs as one of Denver's main challenges. So during his speech, he announced a plan to build 20,000 housing units across 150 acres of city-owned land over the next year. So Mayor Johnston said the idea behind all of this is to invest into building more housing in parts of the city that are most connected to public transit. Johnston called the plan the Mile High Line, saying it would connect neighborhoods from Federal Boulevard to Sun Valley to Westwood. He also talked about the high cost of childcare. For example, Johnson said families pay an average of $25,000 per year on childcare for one child. The mayor said his administration would launch a listening tour to hear from families and childcare providers about where they're struggling. The goal is to have a universal childcare program that covers kids from birth up until kindergarten.
Well, we won't know what it'll cost until we know what the system is going to build. What we want to do is figure out what their needs are, build a system that matches that, figure out what that system costs, and then what the revenue sources are we could use to support that.
During last year's budget crisis, 170 people were laid off and more than 660 positions were eliminated. Mayor Johnston told 9 News that there is no plan for layoffs in this budget cycle. Live in Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
All right, thank you, Courtney. Meanwhile, a bill passed by Democrats last year to restrict certain guns here in Colorado takes effect next weekend, but it may not do very much to actually restrict those guns. The original intent for Democratic State Senator Tom Sullivan was to ban guns with detachable magazines. His son Alex was killed in the Aurora Theater shooting 14 years ago, where the shooter had a 100-round drum magazine. The next year, in 2013, or 2015 that is, state Democrats banned magazines that hold more than 15 rounds, but our 9 News investigation years later proved that law did not stop the sale of those types of magazines. Sullivan's original bill was not going to get signed by Governor Polis, so it was changed. Starting next month, someone can still buy or sell a gun that accepts detachable magazines if they take a safety course set up through Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
What we're looking to do is make detachable magazines obsolete. The governor and his team came in the last hours before we were ready to go to the Senate floor and wanted to do this permit to purchase and making people go through extra steps to be able to circumvent and still have the ability to buy an assault style weapon with detachable magazines.
Also worth noting here, the new law does not impact owners of guns with detachable magazines bought or sold prior to August 1st. Any sales going forward, you'll have to take a safety course and pay fees to CPW, your local sheriff's office, and to the specific safety course that you take.
Leaders in Fort Collins got an earful from the public last night about a proposal to bring paid on-street parking to Old Town. Right now, that kind of parking is free and mainly limited to 2 hours. The city said adding a paid parking system could bring in about $2.5 million annually. Supporters say it would also address parking availability in the area. Critics, though, they worry it'll keep people away and that businesses would take a hit. Even though it wasn't on the agenda, people spoke about this during the public comment of the council meeting.
Paid on-street parking does not solve our parking issues.
I have not met one single customer, business owner, employee, salesperson, nor artisan that thinks any good would come from paid on-street parking.
How many of us small businesses are not going to be able to withstand an estimated year and a half of decreased traffic and sales, let alone an increase in customer complaints?
They plan to have a work session to talk about paid parking and that proposal on August 11th.
All right, a 5K race on the runway at Denver International Airport already sold out. We first told you about this yesterday morning here on 9 News Mornings. It only took about 5 hours for those 2,500 spots in the race to go off the board. The 5K on the runway is what they're calling this. It steps off on Saturday, September 12th. The airport, by the way, is working with the FAA to ensure the race will not impact flights that day. This race was last held back in 2022. The last time they held this race, it sold out in 13 hours.
I remember that. It was wildly popular. Natural Grocers turns 71 this year, and they're kicking off an anniversary party with a $71,000 donation to the Food Bank of the Rockies. The donation includes thousands of healthy snack items and more than 20,000 cans of wellness drinks provided by Colorado-based company Pop Your Vitamins. This will help the food bank stock their new distribution center out in Aurora, which will help increase food distribution across the metro.
All right, pretty soon kids around the area will go back to school, of course, but we want to make sure they go back with all the supplies they need. There are thousands of families here in the state that don't have access to those supplies right now. That's why we're teaming up with Mile High United Way for the 9 News School Supply Drive. The hope here is to raise $50,000, again, to provide kids with all the supplies they need to get the school year started off right. We're going to run this drive through Sunday, August 2nd. All you need to do to help out is scan that QR code we have right there on your screen. It will take you directly to the 9 News School Supply Drive collection page.
Now let's talk about that traffic impacts alert that we have in place. 6:10 is your time for this Wednesday morning. If you are just tuning in, we've been tracking this vehicle fire that shut down all eastbound lanes in the Georgetown area. So if you're taking I-70, you won't be able to. We just got brand new information into our newsroom. According to the Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office, they are saying that this is a semi-fire. Right now, there's no reports of any injuries, but we are going to see eastbound I-70 shut down for quite some time because crews were able to knock down this fire less than 5 minutes ago. So Frontage Road, where you're seeing that vehicle just drive through that area, is going to be a good alternate route. I'm going to have more details of this vehicle fire here in just a couple of minutes.